Hi, I'm Keith Unitt-Jones, and for the majority of my career as a prepress and artwork specialist, I've worked in large format print. In 2023, I started working with ENFOCUS Pitstop. As well as being a pre-flight engine, Pitstop allows you to write action scripts to streamline repetitive tasks in prepress, and also add a level of automation to production workflow artworking without the need to open client PDF files in Illustrator. Every script you see me use today are live scripts. They're used on a daily basis. They're all scripts I've written myself over the last couple of years. I am by and large self-taught for all of this stuff. In our first example, we're looking at an acrylic sign. The artwork's been supplied at quarter size with trim marks, as is not uncommon. And despite the correct bleed being set at scale, the content has not been extended beyond the trim. So first of all, we're going to do a really quick regular pre-flight. Regular fix-up, and then we'll get into more specifics about workflow. So the first thing I'm going to do is just pull up the inspector. This is really just to confirm that the information I've got is correct and scales up to the information that's on the docket, so it is indeed quarter size. So the first thing we need to do is fix the size. So we just run a sizing script. That's done, and as you can see, the information automatically updates. Next thing we need to do is remove the printer's data from the slug. We're done. Next thing I really need to do is fix that bleed and get rid of the slug. So if I run ultimate bleed, this allows me to either extend a short bleed or, in this case, take it from none to 3mm. And there we are done. If I turn on the page boxes and zoom in, you can see we now have content in the bleed where it wasn't before. Pitstop does a really good job with bleeds. It's a mixture of releasing clipping paths and mirroring. I didn't think it was work quite honestly when I first saw it, but I use it all the time now. So yeah, there is that. Right, so if this was Forex, if it was ACM, if it was you know, anything Corex or on paper or on self-adhesive, that could go into print. There's nothing wrong with it. However, the second part we want to look at with Pitstop is the ability to add in product level workflow. This is an acrylic sign, so for an acrylic sign we will need a cut path with round corners, we will need sign support drills doing, we will need white ink layer going down, we will need the image to be flipped because we're printing on the back of the acrylic. And it would be really handy if we had a drill template for the fitters to drill onto the wall for the sign supports to go in. Everything I've just said is individually scriptable. You can run an individual script for each one of those, or if you have a product, you can run a single script that will cover that product. So from correctly set artwork with 5mm radius corner, large sign supports, we want 3 across the top, 2 down the side, we want to come in 30mm from the edge, and we want a template. It's done. I've not had to draw anything, all the drawing's already been done when I set up the scripts years ago. Template is on the right hand side. It can either be printed or it can be knife cut out of card. We usually do it as a knife cut out of card, because that way it can act as a protecting sheet over the top of the acrylic. As we can look on the acrylic side, we've got our cut path with the radius corners, we've got our drill markers on, 10mm for a large sign support. The imprint has been reflected and the colour's changed. The reason the colour has changed is that is the white ink layer that has gone on top. So what has also happened in all of that scripting, we've added in all of our drill, cut and white ink spot layers to go down to the cutter information. And we've not had to set everything up. We know it all overprints. There's no problem with knockout and overprint, which you'll see quite a lot on submitted artwork. That's literally it done. And if you've got a lot of acrylics to do, given that they usually have a sort of relatively heavy material cost, so we don't like to mess them up. You want to process them quick, but you want to process them accurately. So the acrylics, yeah, that's a bit of a saver there. Right, next thing we're going to look at is a wallpaper. We do a lot of office fit outs. I've done so many wallpapers over the years. I used to do all the pagination in InDesign, and I used to do all the fit guides, and I got it down to about 20 minutes a wall, which isn't too bad. But when you've got a lot of them to do, and some of the projects we do can have up to 50 wallpapers, it becomes a bit of a problem when you've got a single seat in prepress doing the work. This is a 10th scale 12 metre-ish wall. Yeah, 12 metres, 150 mil. It's 2.5 metres tall. We've got 50 mil bleed. I ask all my wallpapers and window graphics, I ask for 50 mil bleed at final size, because it's just easier for everybody, and all our account project managers just have to say 50 mil, give us 50 mil. We try and reduce the amount of misinterpretation you can get from the design end. So that artwork is good. I'm ignoring the resolution of the picture. I know it's low res. This was just for a demo, so it's fine. First thing we need to do, let's do the fit guide first. So if we go to our wallpaper scripting and then go down to our fit guide and run the fit guide, artwork is 10th scale. We knew that. We want 11 drops, and because it's going out plain label, we want to do unbranded. There it is, fit guide done. Didn't have to set anything up in InDesign, didn't have to do my drop markings or anything like that. It just all takes time when you've got a lot of them to do. Bit of a problem. And it's pulled the file name in at the top, so that can go to the fitters. It can go, PDF copy can go to the RAMS documentation to go on site for all the risk assessment management. All of those kind of things are done in one hit. If we revert this now, let's go back to the original artwork. So I'd normally save that down onto the server into the RAMS documentation folder. So here we are. We now need to cut this up into 11 drops. And again, yeah, you could make an InDesign page or something. I'm going to leave the artwork, even though it's 10 size, I'll leave it at full size. This particular script for splitting is a generic script, so it's used for a lot of things, not specifically just wallpapers. So at this point, I keep all my sizes and bleed settings the same, so we still can end up with a 10th scale document that's got 11 pages. It's all split up, and each of those pages has the equivalent of 50 mil bleed at final size, so 5mm bleed. The height's the same, and all of the widths as we go through are fine and they match up. That is it done. However, for a wallpaper, as you're aware, we take off the left-hand edge, so we always butt the first drop up to the corner. We want a bit of bleed at the top and bottom to allow for sealing and skirting board irregularities, and then on the adjoining edges we only want a 10mm overlap onto the next panel. On the final drop we want a 50mm overlap into the corner to allow for finishing trim. So again, we go down to our product workflows. I grab the wallpaper script and I just run the script. This time we do tell it it's 10 scale, and we're going to leave alignment marks on. I'll show you what those are in a minute. That's it done. I'm going to turn off our page boxes because they're getting in the way. This is page 1. If we look at our top corner, we now have a working title that will be printed on top of the drop, so we can identify the drop in quality assurance. The fitters can identify the drop, the file name, the wall name. All of that information gets pulled through. This is our primary drop, so on our left-hand edge, we're going to cut it with 3mm to the edge. On our right-hand edge, you'll notice that the crop mark is significantly in. It's 10, well, it's actually 13mm from the edge, but by the time we trim it, it will be a 10mm edge cut. If our fitters do not have a laser level, we put these markers on. These markers, providing the next drop covers that marker, you are in alignment with the previous drop. When we go to subsequent drops, so if we look at drop 2, the main difference here, if I can zoom, is that we've got 10mm overlap on this side and a 10mm overlap on that side, so we've got a 20mm between each drop. And I don't need to set this up, this is all done. It literally takes me 3-4 minutes to do a wallpaper now, and it's done, and it's downstairs and in production. Which means if we're doing a fit out that's got 4 walls, the whole job can be down in a little over 15 minutes. So wallpapers are done. Next thing I wanted to show you was lead in and lead out boards. Now we do an awful lot of work with construction in the construction sector. So We do a lot of hoardings as well. But when the house build gets to fruition and the marketing department get involved, they want kinds of sales centres and signage going up. Lead in, lead out boards. I've got a little drawing of it here. They're these kind of things. So it's a couple of posts. It's with U-channel on it, and then it's got a metre square print on it with the message. That's printed on ACM. It's folded over the top, and then you either have a blank back or you can have branded information on the back. So that's kind of what we're building. The artwork submission comes in as a 2-page document, 1000mm square, 3mm bleed. Nothing else. We don't ask for drill holes or cut paths or anything. Again, this is a product level script I'm about to run. I don't need to change the artwork because the artwork's coming clean. So all I do is just run the tabard script, and that sorts out everything I need to do. It's got the cuts on it, it's got the creases on it, it's got the drills for the rivets on it. It's combined the two artworks together. This is product level. And what I mean by that is it's always this size. It never changes. There is no variation. The only thing that's the only variation is the print. If we look at, this is the net that gets pulled in. It's a net that we already have sitting on the server, so it doesn't change. But what if we've got something that changes? So I want to look at a tray sign. Now, this tray sign is one I put together earlier on today. It's just a demo one. It's the kind of thing you see on above retail units, on industrial units. You've all seen them as you drive around. This particular one is 6.6 meters by 700mm, and it's been artworked with a 100mm return. On returns, I always like to ask the designer to over-egg the information I need. So we're at 10th scale. Again, if I turn on the page borders, you can see the artwork there is all good. Now we're going to cut this out of ACM. It's going to be on a 8x4 sheet. The first cut, I know because I've already done it, is going to come between the O and the P. I've already planned this up. The second cut is going to cut through the O of Bedford. Now, doesn't actually matter, but I don't like it. I don't like working like that. I would much rather the cut go between the F and the D. So that will give me a 2.2 metre up to there. Then it will give me a less than a 2.2 metre there, and then over a 2.2 metre there. But it will all come out of out of 3 8x4 sheets. First thing I need to do is I need to split the artwork up. So we have another set of splitting scripts that allow me to split a file horizontally. But this allows me to add some variation in. We are at 10th scale. Our bleed is 10mm because, again, this is a generic split script, not a product level yet. We don't want a cut path. Our left-hand cut will be 220mm, and our right-hand cut is 231.5mm. If I run that through, you will see that it has split our files up, and you can see where the trim edge is with the bleed. So again, everything's still got the 10mm bleed. That's the end of our general artwork settings. Now we need to go into product level. So product level, tray, horizontal, 3+ units, run the script. Now I'm going to set the scale. So now we're saying it's 10th scale. Now we want, let's say, a 75mm return depth. And we want the butterfly cuts, as I call them, on the side. So if I run this and turn off the page editing, you can now see that we have a 3-page document. All of the trim paths been sorted out. Everything's done. We haven't had to do any maths. We're not relying on people drawing anything up. It is all done by the parametrics of the software. So I've programmed all this to happen. If we revert, I'm just going to quickly mess this artwork up completely by let's go into resize and do a dirty non-proportional scale. And I want to make it, let's see, we want to go up to 8 meters, so we'll do 120%, and let's make it a bit deeper. So let's go 130% on the depth. And of course it's dropped out. So we can see we now have a 8.5, almost 8.6 meter sign that is 840mm deep. Exactly the same scripts, so we're going to run, but this time I'm going to cut it into 4 equal parts, so I'm not doing bias cutting this time. I'm going to go back down to 10mm bleed. There it's split up into 4. So again, I'm not doing any maths, I'm just filling in the numbers. And then go to tray, 3 plus tray. So I'm running exactly the same script as last time, but the sizes have all changed. So 10 scale artwork, let's go for a 50mm return this time. And put the cuts on the top. So without really changing anything, apart from the artwork, you can see our cuts are now on the top edge, not the side edge. All of our cuts and creases and everything are there. So without having to go back through CAD and redraw all the trays, we can just type in the numbers and it comes together. To take that to its next level, we do bollard covers, which you'll see in retail parks around the big steel posts. They're about 100mm post, diameter post. You've seen them. It's basically a 3-sided piece of Corex that gets folded around it, and it allows you to have branding outside the retail store. We have one particular client that does a lot of these, and they keep moving the goalposts on how big they want. They came in with the initial size, so our initial script was set up for bollard covers. So I can take the one artwork, I can repeat it 3 times, I can go to bollard covers, and I can run the bollard cover, number of locks 3. There, it's done. Now, that net has been made up in the background specifically for this bollard cover at a flat sheet size of 822 by 800. If I go to this one, now this is a 2-meter tall by 450. So the only difference is it's a 3-page document rather than a 1-page 3 times. So I'm just going to combine it together. That's combined. Zoom in so we can see it. And then I'm going to run exactly the same bollard script. And this time I'm going to tell it it's got 4 locks. And it's created the script from the same artwork without any hassle, any fuss. I've not had to draw the net. I've not had to do anything. All the parametrics is going behind. Now, you can't do that in Illustrator at the moment. Boxing software costs about £5 a seat. Pitstop is 300 quid, and you just need to know how to program it. So yeah, it's kept me fascinated for the last couple of years, and I'm still every day finding something new to play with and finding something new to do and new challenges. And it has dramatically sped up our artwork to pre-press to print scheduling, and taken out a lot of the human errors that always happen because of scheduling and because of the work rate we have to go to. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting. I hope I didn't waffle too much. And yeah, if you need to know anything, drop me a comment.